Wonderful time of the month. It's reset time. It is June 30th. We are starting this right on schedule, to be honest. Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new, my name is Aylin. Today I'm going to be doing my July reset. If you're new, this entails my TBR, picking it out, going over my reading goals for the month using the data from last month. It's not that scientific, but it's essentially what we're doing here. I wanted this one to be chill because usually I also incorporate like cleaning up and resetting my library, which is a part that I really enjoy. I find to be relaxing. I honestly love editing it too. We're not doing it this month because this room is chaos, which you're probably thinking to yourself, perfect time to do it, makes the most sense. But I have a few videos that I'm working on filming, doing the things in here that I would like normally do to pick this room up for a reset. I'm actually doing in different videos that are coming. It all starts with a reset and picking what I'm going to be reading for this month. I don't really have too many ideas of what I want to be reading. I do want to go through with you the things that I am currently reading, or at least I have in my bag, which has honestly become a staple in these resets. I feel like all of the books that are in that, everything that I'm currently reading, the things that I'm hoping to wrap up by the end of today, but that also may not be wrapped up, which is totally fine. Things that I additionally want to add on for next month, and just like the general calendar for the month. This is the infamous bag. I take this to and from work every day. I got it as a tote from Barnes & Noble, obviously. It's literally just like the perfect to and from work bag for me, so this has just become a staple for what I use. It used to be like a grocery bag from like Walmart. Perfect shape for a bunch of books, and it's canvas, so it holds up better. I hope you guys enjoyed my bag review. This is holding my most current reads, so we'll talk about this first. Guys, we have a huge moment here. I know you guys probably aren't going to believe this. I did indeed pick up Daisy Hates the Great Undoing. Finally. I am currently 176 pages into this, and I don't want to say too much, but I might love this more than I loved The Long Way Home. I do have some unpopular opinions. I still hate Julian wholeheartedly. Like, I can't get over what he did in the end of book one, and he's still kind of a prick, but I do love how obsessed he is with the person he is obsessed with. Honestly, cruising through this, I picked it up the middle of this month, and if you guys remember, if you've been following me, Daisy Hates 1 took me a literal year to read. So I will be finishing this in the month of July because it is quite honestly everything that is consuming my thoughts. I can't stop thinking about it. I always want to read it. This is what I am gravitating towards, which is why I think my reading has definitely slowed down the second half of this month. Hello, Molly. Would you like to say hi? Nobody ever gets to see you because you're mom's dog. Would you like to say hi, Molly? You brought us your octopus, which is really sweet. Well, let's not do that, please. Okay, perfect. Sounds good. These are the books of my soul. I am fully convinced. I'm on page 177, so considering that I picked this up halfway through the month and I've read as much as I have already, we're making really solid progress. So this book is 366 pages. I'm a little under halfway. This is what I will be wrapping up in the first half of July. I know I'm not going to finish this today. I don't really like rushing these books. I like allowing them to take the time that they take me to read them. So this will be a July book for sure. One of the books I am hoping to finish by the end of today though is Save Me an Orange by Haley Grace. My best friend gave this to me. She said that she read it. It's been everywhere, or at least she's seen it everywhere. People are loving it. She loved it. She loved it a lot, and she said that she thinks I will love it even more than she did because she says that there are things in here that I will be able to relate to that she wasn't necessarily able to relate to as much anyway. This is a really short one, like just over 100 pages. I'm like 20 pages into this, I want to say. I'm really enjoying it, so I do plan on finishing this one today. I'm really excited about this. One of the other books that I was hoping I might finish in June, but I'm not entirely sure, is Climate by Whitney Hansen. I am exactly 100 pages into this and I'm really liking it. I love Whitney Hansen's poetry. I was actually supposed to read Home by her this month and just didn't end up getting to it. I picked up this one. I'm reading lots of poetry lately, but I read a lot of it last year and it was very healing and cathartic for me, so I'm happy. This one is definitely longer, 337 pages, so I don't know that I will necessarily be able to finish this one in the month of June. If not, it will roll over into July, and that's totally fine. Some other books that I have in my bag while we're talking about poetry. My best friend also gave me a book of hers to borrow, which I guess I had gotten her for her birthday. He Loves Me, He Loves Me Not. Full of tabs and annotations I cannot wait to go through. I'm so excited. This is by Cami Dennis. She said that she loved this one, so if I love it, I will probably have to add it to my collection. Let me know if you guys want like a guide to poetry. It's a video that I've been toying with doing for a while. I just feel like I haven't read enough poetry, but then I look at my collection of poetry and I'm like, it's kind of a lot, but this is one that she really wants me to read, so I think I'll probably end up picking this up in July. The only other book that I think I could potentially finish today, and I really realistically only think I could finish 2 of these today, so like one of the poetry books and one of the other books, but other than that I don't think anything else is going to happen. I'm listening to the audiobook for Ashford Parker Doesn't Fail. This is the second book in the Bright Falls series because, as you will see in my June wrap up, I read Delilah Green Doesn't Care by Ashley Herring Blake and I really loved it. I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars. It was so good. One of my favorite romances that I've ever read, probably my favorite sapphic romance that I've ever read, and I wanted to continue on with the series, so I did pick up Ashford Parker Doesn't Fail. It was readily available, but I'm currently 45% of the way through this. I have, it says 6.5 hours left to listen to on 2.5 times speed. I have about 3 hours left to listen to of this, so I'm hoping I could potentially finish it today. If not, that will also get wrapped up in the month of July. Then going into the rest of this bag and like what else I could potentially add on to my July TBR. I still have Frankenstein by Junji Ito, which I would really like to read. I did not end up getting to this one in the month of June. I read a different Junji Ito instead. Or should I save this for October? Either way, I didn't end up getting to this one. I still want to read more Junji Ito throughout the year and like hopefully read all of the collection of his that I own. Why was that so verbose? I want to finish all of the Junji Ito books that I own. So I don't know if I will have this one on my TBR for the month. I might end up saving this for October, but a Junji Ito nonetheless. And then I have Love on the Brain by Ali Hazelwood as well. Still 58 pages into this, but I want to do a video where I incorporate this. So hopefully that will happen in July. I've got a lot hopefully planned for the month of July, so we'll just have to see. Then I also have The Brothers Hawthorne, which I am 22 pages into. This is the 4th book in the Inheritance Games series by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. I think the 5th book in this series comes out this month. I don't know that I will necessarily read that, but again, my friends from work and I have been meaning to read this for quite a while. I think I'm putting off reading this one, and I have been for such a long time because the series felt so complete as a trilogy that like this being the 4th book in the series doesn't make a ton of sense to me. I was good with where we left off. Did I want a spin-off series? Yes, but I wanted a spin-off series about Xander, not the 2 main love interests. Feels like fan service, I guess, which I love, but this wasn't the character that I was most invested in by the end. I just feel like we don't have anything left to do with them. But this is in my bag as well. And the last book that is in my bag that I don't necessarily know if I will finish in the month of July or even read is This Is How You Lose the Time War by Max Gladstone. This is another one that my best friend is letting me borrow because we're going to annotate it together. I guess this is following, I don't know if it's time travel, I think it's science fiction, but it's like a science fiction love story about these 2 spies, I think like corresponding throughout a war. Don't quote me on that, I could be totally wrong. I don't know if this is one that I will end up finishing in July or not. Want to read it eventually, so I have that because I was with her last night. So that's everything that's in my bag. I think we can go ahead and like peruse my shelves a little bit and pick the new TBR for the month. So sorry if this is crooked. Also, let's ignore any messes that you see in my library. I already told you I had a few things that I was working on filming, so like she's not perfect. She will be though. She will be. This will be in another video, but there are some books in here. One of them is being added to my TBR. Maybe two of them. The problem seems to be that the one book I grabbed from that bag is like the only thing I really had mapped out to read this month. Are you guys ready to have your socks blown off? I chose way too many books to read in a month. It is not fully plausible that I will be able to read all of these, but these are all of the ones that are sort of calling to me as options. We're gonna break it up into segments. We're gonna do random, fantasy, just as shocked as you are, poetry, and romance. So we'll start with random because that's what's on top. I did already break these up. I know I'm not going to be reading all of these in the month of July, but these are the options because I genuinely had no idea what I wanted to read this month. For the like random ones, we have Daisy Hates the Great Undoing because of course I might start Into the Dark in July. I'm not fully sure. I'm not going to put that on here just in case. Then I have Smashed as the Junji Ito that I would really like to read this month. This is another short story collection. I think this is one of his earlier ones. That's terrifying. I have not read this one yet, and when I was like, what is screaming July to me? This is, for whatever reason, what called out to me. This cover is different from his other ones. It's like smooth. It's not the glossy. Very creepy. I'm excited to read this. And then I'm craving like a mystery thriller, and I'm probably going to choose a young adult one, but I also have Portrait of a Thief by Grace D. Lee. I believe I purchased this in like July or August, and it still sounds so enticing to me. I purchased this a couple of years ago, but the month that I purchased it in was either a July or August, so I just associate this. But I just feel like art thievery kind of goes hand in hand. This is about a Harvard law student, I think, maybe, who gets involved with a group of people who are stealing art that the US has like claimed as their property and it's not their property, and returning it to like the rightful country. Yeah, I feel like the art thievery vibe is here. Portrait of a Thief by Grace D. Lee. Really excited. This has, I'm pretty sure, short chapters in it, which I love in a thriller, you guys know. Then moving on to romance, I have 4 options. The first one that I am like dying to get to is Here We Go Again by Alison Cochrane. I am loving the sapphic romances lately. I don't know why. This is another why can't I say the word now? This is another sapphic romance. I did it. This is about Logan and Rosemary, who had the same professor, and they dated a while ago. I don't know exactly when they dated, but they dated a while ago, and I don't think it ended well. One thing that remains true that they do indeed share is their love of this one professor that they had, who is now terminally ill, unfortunately, and his only request is that these 2 of his former students take him across the country to Maine. He doesn't really tell them why, but it's a road trip story, and it's like a summertime road trip. I feel like this is just going to be perfect, and I am so excited. I've heard nothing but rave reviews about this, so I'm excited to read this. I think that the banter is going to be really good. I don't usually like a road trip story, but this one feels like it's gonna be fun. I want like just good summer romances. July is the first full month of summer that we get. I'm determined to make it an incredible month. So we have Heartless by Elsie Silver, which is a small town cowboy romance. This is the second book in the Chestnut Springs series. We are following Cade and Willa, and it's like a nanny, grumpy sunshine, single dad cowboy romance. It sounds incredible. I loved Flawless, the first book, so I am excited to read the second one as well. Then I also have Beach Read by Emily Henry, which has been on a number of TBRs, and it's kind of embarrassing, but I do want to read it this summer. I thought I'd throw it on here just in case. This is about 2 writers, August and January, who are both in like writing blocks. They write different genres, so they decide to swap in hopes of inspiration, and they also used to go to school together, I believe. When she pens a happily ever after, he kills off his entire cast. Damn. I think it deals heavily with grief, so I'm excited. Then another one that I keep saying I'm going to read and then don't ever pick up, Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez. Another small town romance, I believe. I want to read this series so bad. We're following a farmer and a doctor. She lives in the city. He obviously lives in like a rural area. Don't know exactly everything about it, but this series has gotten nothing but love, and I want to read it so bad, specifically just for the summer. I have FOMO about all of the people who get to read that, and that I am not one of them because I haven't read it yet. So I had to add this one, and I know I only said 4, but I'm going to throw another one on here. The 7-Year Slip by Ashley Poston. This one, I guess, deals a lot with grief, and I think I've been putting it off for that reason, but I think I'm going to love it. Books with grief as a main theme in the book tend to be my favorite. I love reading books about grief. I just connect with them a lot. I think most people do, especially if you have lost something in your life or someone. Maybe you don't even miss the person, but like the potential for a relationship, I eat it up. I do. It's one of my favorite almost subgenres in books. I don't know what that says about me, but I've also heard that like the writing in this one is almost a character. That's how beautiful it is, and I love purple prose. Moving on to poetry, because again, I have a lot of it. Some of this we already discussed. So Climate by Whitney Hansen. If I don't finish this up today, I will finish this in July. I'm really excited because the dedication on this one was stunning. For those whose rain clouds feel too heavy to shoulder, and then the little author's note at the very beginning, or preface I guess, it says, "Dear Stormkeepers, I've been told that the weather is what we experience day to day, and climate is the average of weather over time. Since then, I've realized that each day builds the climate of my mind, and every storm or ray of sunshine holds an important place in this life. Every person that walks away is simply a part of the chaos. Chaos is not a bad thing, and neither is peace. There is space for the rain just as there is space for the sun. There is space for love and for grief. There is space for the heartache and the growth and everything in between. So as you read, remember this. You can rely on the weather to change. You will find yourself in the fog, sun, and rain. Hope is found in the way things always rearrange. You can find solace in the fact that even if this is the worst storm you've yet to face, the sun will always fall back into place. My hope is not only that you seek the sun, but that you find balance in the climate in your brain." This is already getting huge. Then, again, I hope to finish this today, but if not, then Save Me an Orange will be on there. Home by Whitney Hansen, which I was supposed to read last month, but I think that this would be nice to like just be reading throughout the month. That's what I really like to do with poetry books. I don't necessarily love finishing them all in one go, especially if they're not like this long. If they're tiny like this, then this is not that big of a deal, but like this is almost 400 pages, I think. It's 337, like 340 pages. So like this one I want to take my time with. I don't want to read this in one go. I like to sit and absorb and really internalize all of the words on the page, whereas this, like, I can still sit and internalize, but I can do it in like a night because these are definitely different sizes. And lastly, again, we already talked about He Loves Me, He Loves Me Not. I really want to read this one. This one could be a one night. This could also be like a couple of days, like 200 pages. So this one could go either way, but I do really want to read this one as well, especially because it is so annotated. I'm so excited. And lastly, I have 2 fantasy books, which again, just as surprised as you are, but these were really calling out to me. So the first one is One Dark Window by Rachel Gillig. This is almost like a tarot card inspired fantasy, which sounds really good, and it's supposed to be romantasy. I do love a good romantasy. I don't know exactly how that like ties in, but I really want to read this duet. And then the other one that was kind of calling out to me was The Serpent and the Wings of Night by Carissa Broadbent. This is the first book in the Nightborn duet, which is the first series in the Crowns of Nyaxia series, which is like an overarching series. Take a shot every time I said series there. This is another romantasy, and it has like trials in it. I think there are vampires. I've heard really good things about this one as well, and this popped into mind when I was thinking about what I wanted to read this month. I do also want to read Love on the Brain, but that's more of like a video, and there were a couple other things that I wanted to read for that video, so I'm not going to include that here. That is everything for my July TBR. I don't really have a lot going on this month. I took off a day for July 5th, so I have the 4th of July off and July 5th to give myself like a nice extended weekend. But other than that, I don't really have too much going on, I don't think. I have a lot of content that I am hoping to get out to you guys, fingers crossed if all goes smoothly, but that's really it. I'm gonna wrap this up because I'm losing my voice and I need to charge my camera. I love you guys so much. Let me know down in the comments below if you have read any of these books or what is on your TBR for the month. This is all of mine, which is chaos. I think next time my limit is going to be if it can fit in here, because this is still more than I can read in a month. Well, more than I have been, not more than I can. That's going to be it for me. I love you guys so much. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you're doing well reading, mentally, and otherwise, and I really hope to see you all in my next video very, very soon. Bye, guys.